everybody, it's Kay and thank you for watching. I did notice that I got a whole new bunch of subscribers. Thank you for joining the family. And if you're watching this and you are yet to subscribe, please go ahead and do so now. This way you will be able to follow in the journey, and hopefully there'll be a tip, a suggestion, or a piece of motivation that you can take away from my channel. I upload new videos every Tuesday. You will notice that these are raw IVF videos of my journey. I tried my best to just get my phone camera out and just really record the experience, because when I was going through my IVF journey, I received a lot of motivation from YouTubers who were brave enough to share their journeys. And so the hope is that maybe I can do the same. In the video today, and every once in a while you'll see me getting all prepped up like I am today, and I use these opportunities to address some of the questions that are routinely sent to me. And this one in particular, I felt is an important one that I should do a video on, because maybe somebody might benefit. And this is about the pathway to baby. I think a lot of people found that to be unique and not something that they had thought about when they were going through their journey. And so I'm happy to take some time to just kind of share with you the importance of developing a pathway to baby and what it specifically means. It's very important that you at least take some time to do it. Now remember, when you start to do it, if you're new to IVF, you will hate it. I absolutely did not want to think about pathway to baby, because in my mind at the time, it meant kind of failure, because why would you have a plan B? No, it's just plan A, plan A. Why would you have a plan B? Why would you have a plan C? But what got me to eventually do it is, number one, IVF is an expensive process and you do have to plan for it. So if you have multiple pathways to a baby, like there's different ways that you are open to in terms of having a child, then you have to be financially prepared to do so. So because of that propelling factor, I was able to sit down with my husband and we just developed our plan for what it is. Not everybody has a pathway to baby. Some people, it's just definitive which way they want to go. But there are other people who are open. And based on what I will tell you today, hopefully you'll be able to decide which one is right for you. The first pathway for baby is having a baby with your own genetic egg. And for those of us who want to pursue this pathway, we attempt multiple treatments to be able to help us get there. Starting off to conceive naturally using methods such like I share with you about using the Catholic Billings method. There is using IUI. There is using the 3 types of IVF: conventional, mini, and natural cycle IVF are also popular methods with the pathway to baby using their own genetic egg if you have infertility. And so this is the most popular pathway to baby. Some people, this is their only pathway. Jessica Hepburn, whose video I just shared with you in prior videos, love her. She's a British woman that went through 9 to 10 cycles of IVF and ended up not being successful. She was trying with her own genetic egg, and then she decided to live a child-free life and offers support on how to do that. Her pathway to baby was just that. I'm going to put her video in the comments below so that you guys can gain inspiration from her, because she really helped me be open and understand what it can be like if whatever we were doing with IVF with our genetic egg did not end up working out. There was other YouTubers also that really helped me. I really resonated with Simply Tanika because of her passion and her desire for her own genetic child, and so followed her in her journey as well to be able to be open to the next steps just like she was. And also watched other YouTubers like Uniquely Ursi, for example. She's amazing, you should check her out, because eventually in my mind I started being open to the different ways that people were exploring to have children, and hopefully it will be the case for you. The second pathway to baby is donor egg. Donor egg was something that I did not know existed. But I remember when I went to my doctor's office, and I think at the time I was just saying, well, mentioning all these celebrities who had kids and they were much older. And, my doctor, just like many other doctors on YouTube and just doing research, that's when I really discovered about donor egg. I did not know that that's what was used in some of those cases. Now it's not proven, and I don't want to say that I know 100%, but it is used by some individuals who are going through age-related infertility, or individuals who are going through infertility regardless of age. Some have had to use donor eggs depending on the diagnosis. And so that was the second pathway to baby that we had on our list, if the first pathway did not end up working out. The third pathway to baby, if you were curious, is another new thing that a lot of people may not know about, and it's called embryo donation. What happens in the IVF world, they like to call it the dirty secret of IVF. If you ever look into embryo donation, there are some conversations about, why some religious folks, don't like IVF, and because on the other side of IVF, what happens is, depending on people's diagnosis, they may end up with a lot of embryos, or a lot of embryos of a particular set, of a particular gender, and you may not want to use all of them. In fact, I remember there was a story of a couple who went through embryo donation, and the family that was donating their embryos actually had 6 embryos that were all male, and they already had 3 boys at home, and so they were donating their embryos. So this is a couple who was fortunate enough in their conventional IVF cycle to have leftover embryos, and they donate them to a family. And so that is the third pathway to baby. Fourth pathway to baby, and this is where things get a little interesting, because when you are trying to get pregnant, if you have not carried a pregnancy, sometimes you don't know if you might need a surrogate. So what I learned in YouTube and watching people's journey, I think in particular was Gabrielle Union's journey that really inspired me to have this on my list, is Gabrielle Union had no problem getting pregnant. It was the miscarriage. And as you know, when you look at the causes for miscarriage, some people have clotting factors, some people have natural killer cells, and then some people, it could be aneuploidy, based out of age-related infertility, where the eggs are really old and they have abnormalities. But either way, when it comes to not being able to carry a baby, if that's what the doctor diagnoses you to have, then opting for surrogacy is an option. And there is gestational surrogacy, which is when your own genetic egg and your partner's little guys and your husband's little guys, or in that case, are put in the surrogate, or traditional surrogacy, where the surrogate donates their egg and your husband or partner's little guys are combined to create that embryo. So surrogacy is also another pathway to baby, but I do think that that one is also based on individuals and what's going on with their infertility, but it is an option that is out there. The fifth pathway to baby is a pathway that people know. It's foster care. Bringing in a child and taking care of them when their families are going through a tumultuous situation and sharing your life with them. And I remember watching couples, in fact, some couples who had failed IVF, they would foster in between, and it's such a blessing to have to be able to love a child and to have the love of the child in your home, even though it's temporary. But that I would say sometimes is the downside of foster care, is that eventually the child has to go back to their family. But it is definitely a pathway to baby. The final pathway to baby is what everybody knows, which is adoption. And adoption is a very, very expensive process. And I think it is much more expensive than both IVF and embryo donation. And there are so many conditions that have to be met in order for you to adopt a child. So if you're thinking about that option, you do have to start early. And there are many, many folks who have had really positive experiences going through the adoption process as their pathway pathway to baby, and it is definitely an option to consider as well. One of the reasons we had not thought about genetic egg and then jumped into adoption is because there was all these other options that were in between as well that were valid options. And it could also be because with some of the earlier options I talked about, you do have the option to carry the baby, whereas with adoption, it is a child that you bond with after it is here earthside. So for some women, especially as you contemplate the options, those are the things that you want to think about, is what experience do you want to have. And for some women, it means a lot to them to be able to carry the pregnancy. So they might consider donor egg, or they might consider embryo donation before they perhaps consider foster care or adoption. So folks, I hope that this video is helpful as you contemplate and consider the pathway to baby. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We really thoroughly explored these, so I'm happy to just share with you any insights. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.